Good afternoon for most, I think everybody here, right? We are happy to have, for the first time ever, our banking partners speaking at our annual seminar. We feel this is like the best opportunity for people who may or may not use bank products to have a safe space to learn more about the program, to learn more about bank products themselves, to determine whether or not that's a choice that they would like to make and use for their business. So we are thrilled to share Refund Advantage and EPS. They will both be represented by Scott Crowley here. I'm going to introduce him real briefly here. And Scott has been in the tax industry for over 25 years. His family owned an H&R Block franchise where he managed an office in Northwest Georgia for several years. Since then, he has worked for multiple tax software companies, as well as other banks over time, specializing in business development. His experience as a tax preparer, familiarity with the tax software platforms, and knowledge of the bank product industry give him a unique ability to help EROs see the benefits that bank products offer to both the taxpayer and the tax professional. And so with this introduction, Scott, thank you again for being here today and taking this time to educate our customers about Refund Advantage as well as EPS, since they are both with Mother Bank, MetaBank, right? And I turn the time over to you. Thank you very much. Oh, I have one last thing. There will be a drawing, a random drawing based on attendees only for a gift card, a Visa gift card that is sponsored by Refund Advantage for today's session. So thank you very much again for that. We appreciate it.
You bet. Well, thank you, Catherine. I would like to mention that if you have any questions, we're going to save those to the end of the session today. Maybe just make yourself a note and we'll be sure to get the answers to your questions. But I thank you all for taking time out of your schedule. I respect that and want to help educate those who may not be all that familiar with what bank products offer and how they have evolved over time. Back in the days of the refund anticipation loan, there was somewhat of a narcissiferous opinion of bank products at that time. But since then, some things have really turned around and they have some significant benefits. And I think that perhaps today you may have just a little more understanding. I certainly hope to accomplish that. On another note, I also am a musician. I was a classical piano major in college, and I have a little jazz band that we play around locally, and it's a significant part of my life. And so that's something that I enjoy tremendously as well. Not much to do with the tax industry, but it's a nice break, if you know what I mean. So, well, let's get started. I would like to I'm going to turn my video off here so I'm not the distraction. Okay, for those of you who may not be as familiar with bank products as others, I'll just briefly describe how this product works, what it has to offer, and the benefits. What we do is we collect your tax preparation fees from a client's tax refund. The taxpayer doesn't have to have any cash up front, doesn't have to write you a check, doesn't have to process a credit card. It's very clean and easy. Once we receive the refund from the IRS, we then direct deposit your fees into your bank account. This is all part of the bank enrollment process where you sign up with the bank and you provide your bank account information, your company information, that type of thing. And there's no cost to you to participate in this program. So it's worth trying if you haven't attempted or been hesitant in the past to try this and see if you might be able to offer this convenience to your taxpayer as well as for yourself. Some interesting aspects of our industry, which really have not changed that much over the 25, 30 years that this product has existed is that many households in America do not have a bank, or if they do, it's a very limited type of account that they may have. And so this product, I think there's been about 40 million products done in the country for the last 20 plus years. And that really hasn't changed much. And so this is a significant piece of information for you to understand the demand for this product, and how convenient and accepting the taxpayers are in welcoming this opportunity. So one of the things that is happening that I do want to mention to get started with is the taxpayer advance. We actually have the ability to evaluate a taxpayer's financial situation to where we can offer them a tax refund advance. This is, you facilitate this on your end. There's an actual bank application within Taxware itself. And basically you complete that application with a little bit of information, additional information like a driver's license, that maybe a bank account if they do have an account for direct deposit purposes. We can also direct their refund to their account directly, or you can actually print them a check. We also have a prepaid card disbursement option as well, and we'll get into those details. But what
now,
has,
Scott,
yes,
I hate to interrupt you, but remember we had a quick poll. Do you want to do that now, or did you want to move
yeah,
that to later?
that would be helpful, Catherine. Thank you.
Okay, all right. We have a poll here, and it'll show up in your screen. And if you would respond, that would be awesome. Question is, do you currently offer bank products? It helps us to kind of gauge on whether, how he should direct, this training here. Wonderful. Thank you for your response. So we are about 60% no, and 40% yes, already offer. So you can see that. So it's kind of split down the middle almost there, Scott.
Yep.
So that gives you the information on what you need to help continue sharing. Thanks.
Well, perfect. Thank you, Catherine. This is a well-balanced group. So I think we're off on the right track here. And so we'll start to dig down into more of the details of how the product works, how the program works, and take it from there. So I mentioned the advance. I guess I need to learn to spell. The no-cost taxpayer advance. This is a new product that basically started in the last tax season, maybe the tax season before that, I believe. And this is a significant development because one thing you need to know is that the major franchises, the tax franchises, they no longer offer a full advance with an interest-based fee. So the franchises now are offering and promoting and advertising free money, a no cost. You can get money from us at no cost. We'll advance it to you, and that's how this works. And so this particular product, the no cost advance, is resulting in seeing new clients. They're coming in. For those who have in the past have been familiar with this product, they've not had that option, and the idea of getting money up front as an advance, within maybe just a few hours after their tax return is submitted. Sometimes it could take longer, but this product is driving new business to tax professionals, and we actually experienced about a little over 50% take rate on taxpayers that came in. They elected to get the no cost advance versus the fee-based advance, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But I don't think that I can really emphasize this enough, in that as a bank, our overall RT volume, which is the refund transfer that I mentioned earlier, our volume increased 3 to 5% this year, I think, which is actually a pretty strong number when you're doing so many of these types of products. So we're seeing taxpayers taking advantage of this opportunity. And I would encourage you to consider participating in that. We do accept, for those of you who have never done this before, it can be a little bit intimidating technically. You just have to complete a single form within your Taxware software, the bank application. And there are some questions there that you would ask the taxpayer, and they have the ability to, on that form, you would ask them, well, would you be interested in a no-cost advance, or would you like to get as much money as you can at a fee? And so it's really pretty simple in the process. But then once you get further down into it, once the IRS funds, you may, if they don't have a bank account, you could consider giving them a prepaid card. If you qualify, there are some qualifications for that, or printing them an actual check. Once you sign up with the bank through your Taxware portal, we would then ship some checks to you, and you would keep those in your office in a safe, maybe even locked location. And then once your checks are ready to print, you would directly print those within our portal. And it's really a pretty simple process. We do have some resources there within the portal to help you understand how that works. But that's what I wanted to start with, was emphasizing this no-cost taxpayer advance as a product to bring you business. If you can promote and advertise this, if you have a website, maybe a Facebook page for your business, we have digital artwork that you can promote this, in social media types of scenarios. We also have banners and posters that you can purchase at very reasonable fees to get the word out that you're offering these products. So this is something, like I said, I can't emphasize it enough, that this is a somewhat of a new direction, let's say, in the taxpayer advance refund side of our business. And so with our bank, you're able to promote the no-cost taxpayer advance, as well as the up to $6,000 full fee-based advance. And so we'll look more closely at that. Okay, so I mentioned that the Block, Hewitt, they're not offering anything but the no-cost taxpayer advances this year. They'll be promoting this themselves, and so you as an ERO can benefit from that, because taxpayers are seeking that out. I've had discussions with tax professionals who have received calls on their business asking if they have this product, and so we loaned out last year over $2.2 billion in taxpayer advances. Over 50% of those taxpayers chose the no-cost advance, as I mentioned. And helping you compete is what we want to do. That's our goal, to keep the cost low, the benefits, make them significant and have substance. And so we're the only bank that really combines the no-cost advance option up to a full $6,000 interest-based advance. So the H&R Blocks, the Jackson Hewitts of the world, they're not going to have this option, and it gives you perhaps just a little bit of an advantage for those who are looking to see how big of a refund, how much of a refund they can receive as an advance. So we'll look at those details a little more closely. We had over 25,000 tax professionals enrolled in our program. As I mentioned, we had an increase in the number of RTs, the refund transfers that we did last year. We believe that was as a result of the no-cost advance. Our costs and fees for these products are very low, very competitive, especially compared to what some of the other bank programs in the industry is providing. To give you an idea, our ERO cost, and this is an important point for you to understand, is that for advances, you will have what we call an ERO marketing fee. So while your taxpayer may choose to and elect for a no-cost advance, you would still have a fee for an approved advance. Our fee is $29.95 and that basically it comes out of your preparation fee. We just deduct that when the funding comes in for that taxpayer from the IRS. And but other bank programs are significantly higher, $10 to $20 higher. So these are some things that I'll have some examples of that I can show you as well. But we are the processing bank. Refund Advantage is a brand of MetaBank, there are some banks who actually outsource their programs through third-party banks. So when you deal with Refund Advantage, you're dealing directly with the bank that provides these products and supports your products as well. Here's some examples of how these advances break down in some averages and cost. So you'll see here the MetaBank ERO marketing fee. This is what you would pay, your cost for an approved advance is $29.95. In this bank scenario, one of the competing banks, that cost is $45, and in this bank it's $40. Our average loan, interest-based loan approval amount last year was $2,349. So for banks that are, or for taxpayers who are looking for larger refunds or larger loans, you can see that we beat the competitors rather significantly in our average loan amounts. Our average free no-cost loan was $747, and I'll explain how we come to that average shortly. But the other banks really didn't have this type of an option combined with, as well as combined with interest-based loans in addition. Our average approval was 78.3%. So you're looking at almost 8 out of 10 of your customers being approved for an advance. And that's a significant number when you consider these people are coming in your door and an approved customer is a happy customer. On the interest-based advances, our average fee was $34.58 to the taxpayer. You can see that the other two banks were pretty significantly higher in their cost in the interest-based part of that for the taxpayer. Our taxpayer loan cost for the no-cost advance, of course, was no cost. When it came to the $6,000 advance, that average cost to the taxpayer was $177.53. You can see that really across the board here, we have other significantly beat our competition's fees. And there's a philosophy behind that we do whatever we can, as best we can, to keep those fees under control, keep you competitive, and keep your taxpayer happy. That's the goal. The few things here that we'll dig into, this is regarding the advances. The no-cost taxpayer advance amounts this year. We have $250, $500, and $1,000, where depending on several factors, the taxpayer could be approved for those amounts. The $250 amount we introduced because we had a large number of our tax professionals were asking us to provide a product, provide a loan amount that would enable taxpayers who have smaller refunds to provide and offer them a product. So if a taxpayer is interested, let's say they have a $750 refund. So if that's all that they're going to receive as a refund, they do not qualify for an interest-based advance. But if your total fees associated with your prep fees, any additional fees that might apply, and if they have that plus $250, so let's say we had a $250 preparation fee, and let's say maybe it's we have a transmission technology fee of $20, and they have a $750 refund, then they would qualify, I don't know, somewhere around a $430 advance at no cost. And then once that once the IRS makes that funding, we repay ourselves out of the refund, and you would print the check or the direct deposit to the taxpayer for the difference. So this opens up the opportunity for you to offer the same no-cost advance and be able to give the taxpayer a little bit of something, and at no cost to them. And again, this is something that's on the bank application. It's part of the process to ask the taxpayer, would you be interested in a no-cost advance? You cannot select the specific amount, 1,500 or 250. Our system will go through to determine what amount that they would qualify for. So it would be one of those amounts based on several criteria. But as you might recall in the earlier screen, I think we had a $747 average. So somewhere in that range, about they got about 75% of the maximum. So very happy, very successful program last year. Now with the interest-based advance, again, we're on the bank application. The taxpayer would elect to receive as the largest refund advance that they could qualify for. But they have to have over $1,250 of a refund amount in order to qualify for that. We do have a 36% APR. I believe that most banks are in that same range. That number actually originated from the military, where payday loan companies were charging some significant interest rates and fees. And so this is, we base these numbers, all the banks do, on the military maximum APR that's provided. But you can see, I think in our previous example, we had a $6,000 refund for a $177 fee. Really, that's a very reasonable fee for that amount of money if you consider it out over 21 to 30 days in that time frame. So it's pretty reasonable, but they can select. If they don't want to pay that fee, they can go for the no-cost advance fee. Now, you can also provide your customer with a prepaid card. We actually ship these out before the season starts, but for those of you who are new, I would have to tell you that you would not qualify for the card program. You have to have a year of experience in the industry before we could approve you for that. So this would only apply to those of you who would have had prior year experience. And there may be another caveat there where you have to have a minimum number of products, I believe, to qualify. But the cards do have some advantages. And one of those is that if the refund advance is placed on a card, the $29.95 fee goes away. You don't have that fee. It's not charged to you. For those of you that have considered offering cards in the past, there's not a big take rate on this. I think we had 3 to 4% of taxpayers who wanted to do this, but I can tell you some tax offices that's almost exclusively what they do. So it's a matter of educating taxpayers about how these cards work. They can be very convenient and easy to use, but they come with a few points of concern. If they lose the card, forget their PIN, some of these kinds of things can be very challenging to manage with a taxpayer who may not be all that familiar with how the card works, or somewhat forgetful about where they put it. So there's some ugly stories I could share with you about how these cards work, because if they have to get a replacement, it does take some time and validation, verification of ID and so forth. So it can be some headaches. That's all I want to make sure that you're aware of. That's great that you would have no fee, but sometimes it may not be all that great in the scheme of it. So we covered the franchises, the no cost, the marketing fee. Here is the next topic, the pre-ac advance. So what happens, a pre-ac is an advance that you can actually submit a tax return through your software, and an advance request to the bank. Now, the return has to be complete. You have to have all the forms, W-2s, dependent information. So, in many cases, people will not have all their tax documents ready by this time, but some do. And so the way this works is that we will actually make an advance on a taxpayer's refund before the IRS accepts the tax return. And it is risky. And to mitigate that risk, there is a fee of $75 to the ERO. That would come out of your preparation fee right here. And so it is expensive. Some of the advantages of doing this means that if you're one of the first preparers to get a check out on the street, that the word spreads pretty quickly. And so the idea is that you're getting a jump on the season. And once that customer comes to you, then you've got a pretty likely outcome that they will return to you. But that is a risk. They could get some money and decide to go to another tax office. So going into this and offering that product, there are some, you have no liability if it's a no recourse loan. So you're not responsible if the taxpayer doesn't come back and we provide them a loan. But there are there's some issues there that you don't want to do a whole lot of those, because if the bank is taking a hit on that, it's not going to reflect well on your performance as a professional tax preparer. So that's just it's a product that you do have to qualify for. Like with the cards, a first-year preparer cannot offer the pre-ac. And so another thing that we're really concerned about is, last year the IRS did not officially start accepting returns until February 12th last year. That's a long time for some of these folks that are looking for advances, in this time frame. Most people who are looking for advances are in the door by January 31st for the most part. And so we are hearing that IRS is looking to open officially in January. So we haven't confirmed that officially, but there are some pretty strong suggestions that could be quite likely. We hope so, and get back to some normalcy versus the last 2 years of COVID, et cetera. But so the pre-ac is costly. It's a little risky, but it can be a strong product for you to offer in the beginning of the season to bring business in the door. That's the idea. So our bank is unique from a standpoint of, if we decline a pre-ac, so it may be that you submit a pre-ac advance to us, and we say, no, we're not going to be able to offer and provide that to the taxpayer. But what we will do is, when the IRS accepts the tax return, we'll reconsider it. And that taxpayer may very well qualify. for an advance. So that that is something that only our bank does, and it gives the taxpayer a second opportunity to be considered for an advance. And then I'll cover one more thing for those of you who are unfamiliar with the bank product, and maybe some of you who have even offered them in the past. You may not have heard of this, but the IRS opens up the tax season with what they call hub testing. This is where the tax software companies, they allow each of the companies to transmit tax returns in before the official start date of electronic filing. And generally that happens a week, 10 days in advance of the official start date. And they're testing their systems, making sure everything works and comes through, etc. And so one of the reasons this is significant is that with the pre-act, that $75 cost drops during hub testing. If a tax return is submitted and accepted by the IRS, we treat that as an in-season loan, and that's where we come back to the $25 marketing fee, $29, I'm sorry, $29.95. So you can see by doing that, you're looking at saving a $45 cost difference to yourself. And so hub testing is a little bit of an insider information, so to speak, in our industry, but it can save you some money, and being familiar with it isn't too difficult, and learning about it. So just a little tidbit of information there for those of you who may be a little more experienced. The in-season advances will start actually when hub testing starts, and will finish out through February 15th. That'll be the last day that taxpayers can qualify for a refund advance. So we try and keep this as simple as we can. There are a lot of moving parts, as I'm sure some of you who are investigating bank products can see, but that is in trying to keep it somewhat simple and not drill down too deep, and give you just an overview of how this works, what you can expect, the cost, the options to the taxpayers. That's something that we offer you to try and help your business in growth, and that's the whole idea, and do it in a very cost-effective way, as cost-effective as possible. We have a number of opportunities as well for helping you financially. Last year we loaned out over $170 million to our tax professionals. And the way this works is that we have what we call an ERO startup loan. This is not available to first-year banking partners. You have to have there are some other qualifications that you have to meet, but I want you to understand that we have some very significant resources available to you as a preparer, particularly as you build your business and you become more successful in your bank product side of this industry, that there are some real nice rewards available. Our startup loans, basically, we start that in October 1st. So if you have been working with us as a prior client, or if you were working with another bank and you can provide us with your bank history from the prior year, if you qualify, we can make a loan to you at very reasonable rates. I think it's about 1%, 1.5% of the loan amount per month until tax season starts. And once your fees start coming in, we use those fees to repay these loans that we gave to you. So the startup loan is what also in the industry referred to as pre-season. So this is actually before any tax returns are submitted. And then we also have a fee advance program. So this is what we do, is we provide you with a cash flow opportunity. As many of us, we're not seeing much preparation fee revenue until the IRS begins to fund, at least as far as bank products are concerned. So what we do is we will advance 50% of the tax preparation fee the day after the IRS accepts the tax return. So if you have a $500 fee, which is pretty significant, but easy numbers, we will deposit $250 of your preparation fee into your account the next day. And once the return is funded by the IRS, we will repay that $250 to ourselves and pay your preparation fee. And then we also deduct a $2.50 transaction fee for each of the refunds that are that you can opt in for fee advance. Again, you have to qualify for the fee advance program. You also have to qualify for our loyalty card program. For those of you who are somewhat new or unfamiliar with the loyalty card, it's an interesting program. If you're familiar at all with what some of the franchises offer in regards to holiday loans that they generally have available this time of year, as I understand it now, even what happens is that most of those franchise-based loans are strictly based on credit score. It is a hard credit check on the taxpayer, and they will have to repay that loan. In the case of our loyalty card program, what we do is we advance you money. That can be, there's certain qualifications as to how much, to participate in the program, as well as how much we might advance to you. But let's say it's a $5,000 advance that we give you for your loyalty card program. The way that works is that you can provide the taxpayer with anywhere from $25 to $500 on a prepaid card. Now, the significant part of this is that the reason we call them loyalty cards is to reward returning taxpayers who are loyal to you. We have taxpayers who are tax professionals who use this as a referral reward as well. So what you can do is load these cards anywhere from $25 to $500 in $25 increments. So you can make it $50, $250, whatever you have a comfort factor with that taxpayer. But this is your money. The bank is not making this loan to the taxpayer. We basically set an account up in your name with these cards, and you distribute them. And then when the taxpayer returns to you for the preparation, we repay that account and settle up with you at the end of the season. And but the downside of this program is that if they don't come back and you gave them money, that you won't get that back. So we have some people who have been extremely successful with this loyalty program, and some that have tried it and just said, that's not for me. So it really depends on a lot of what I have seen on the relationship that you have with your taxpayers, and making the right decisions about who to give an advance to or not. But it can be a very handy and effective program to keep your clients returning. So very successful, but you do have to qualify for all of those in order to participate. Now, what we do for those of you who are considering getting in and offering bank products is that you can offer in-season taxpayer advances. You are qualified to do that. It's only the PREAC and these programs that we don't, that we have to have the further qualification on. So if you're a first-year preparer, you want to offer advances, you can do that. I don't believe our competitors permit that, but I could be wrong. One of the, like I said, you don't have to have any prior year history requirements to participate with us. We have an excellent portal where you would actually be able to check on the status of your clients' refunds, their advances. It's very detailed. It provides all of their bank account information. If they have an existing account for their refund to go to, dates, IRS deposit dates, everything that's funded, how much. And so it's a very nicely laid out portal. All your check printing is done there. If you do that, it's very easy to use, and we have a great deal of support tools there as well. So I think reporting, etc. And we have two client customer service centers, one in Easton, Pennsylvania, and one in Louisville, Kentucky. And so we have the resources to take care of you, get your questions answered, get your issues resolved. And last year we had just an excellent season with very little hold time, an average of under 30 seconds. We also this year have merchant services available. We have been in the merchant services business for about 7 years. We've just now integrated this into Refund Advantage. So if you're interested in offering credit cards, or if you offer credit cards as a payment for your customers, I really believe we can help you save cash if you're already doing it, as well as for those of you who may be new at this, is to provide you a great credit card product with a very strong and low cost. So that's really what we have for today. Would we have any questions that anyone might have at this point?
I have a couple here for you, Scott.
Okay.
Let's see, Barry questions. He says, with the $75 cost that we as the EROs are responsible for, explain if there's any benefits to the ERO, like at the end of the year on offering that product.
Okay, I'm not quite sure I followed that question. Catherine, could you repeat it, please?
Okay, so that the $75 is the cost that the EROs are responsible for those pre-AC advances.
Yes.
Explain, are there benefits to the ERO? What are the true benefits to the ERO in offering that pre-AC advance if they have to pay $75?
Right, and that's a very good question, because that is a significant fee. And by the way, that's the same cost for all the banks. I think one might be at $79. The idea behind the pre-AC, which personally, I don't care for this product, and frankly, I wish the industry didn't offer it. It's risky, it's expensive, and but the idea is, and really the reason we offer it is because the franchises offer it. And in order to keep our EROs competitive, is we feel we have to provide a product that they can offer this in the marketplace. So the advantage or the benefit of offering this pre-AC product is to get customers in your door early. And so for some that may not be strong enough, but the name of the game is trying to get the customers to come into your office versus somebody else. And if they're not doing this and somebody wants this product, then you got a good shot at getting them. So, but there is a school of thought with some tax professionals that, well, I'll just raise my fee $75 and recuperate that. But I have to caution you, particularly in certain states, that they monitor this, and that if it's determined that someone is doing that, where this program is designed for the ERO to pay for, and so you don't want to, I would highly discourage you from doing an add-on fee of $75 to offset your cost for this product. There are people who do it, but if you get caught, it could be a real problem. So these are some of the kinds of issues with these kind of products. And it's really another reason that I don't care for it. But it is the only reason we do it is to keep people competitive, so you can compete against the franchises.
Thank you. And the ERO, for this type of pre-ac advance or even in-season advance, are they the ERO is not liable for the actual funding or repayment of that loan, correct?
That is correct. And in fact, even the taxpayer, if any kind of advance or loan that we provide to the taxpayer is non-recourse. So we also do not go after the taxpayer in any type of a collection scenario. Now, if they come back to us the next year and they submit for an advance and we get that funding, we have the ability then to apply some of that refund toward the repayment of the prior year, if that happens. But that's just because we're the transacting bank and we have a debt that's unpaid and we can collect it in that scenario. But we do not, have collection agencies or use anything like that, either for the ERO or for the taxpayer.
Thank you. Another question is there season end bonuses or things like that for the EROs based on successful volume?
Good question. We do have, it is non-published, but we do have some opportunity for a rebate incentive scenario. It is based on volume. So what I would encourage you to do is that if you have that, if you're doing more than 50 bank products, that I would be happy to discuss with you what we could do as far as any type of end of the year incentive. Yes.
I think that is it. As far as questions go, Scott,
Yeah.
Is that the end of your presentation or did you have more to share?
Yes, no, that's it for Refund Advantage. If everybody's up to taking a look at the EPS program, it is different, and I think there will be some interest here.